and conversions. Now, before we actually get into how to do rates and conversions, there's a few words or things we need to talk about. The first one we need to talk about is called a unit rate. That was part of your vocab this chapter, right? A unit rate is a rate with a 1 in the denominator. Some examples of a unit rate might be 30 miles in 1 hour, right? 30 miles per hour. Another example might be something is $2.19 per 1 apple. I don't know. All right, so as long as there's a 1 in the denominator, that makes it a unit rate. Okay, so a lot of times we like to simplify things so that we can tell with a 1 on the bottom exactly what our proportion is or our comparison. All right, and I'm going to do an example with unit rate in a second, but I want to talk about the other word we need today. The other very important vocabulary word in this chapter is conversion factor. A conversion factor is a ratio of equal measures but different labels. So an example of a conversion factor might be that we have 1 foot is 12 inches, right? Or we could say 1 hour is 60 minutes. You're comparing two different things that are exactly the same measure but have different labels on them. Okay? All right, so my first example has to do with the first couple or the first problem in your homework. So I want to make sure we talk about that one first before we get into the real nitty-gritty of today. All right? So here is example number 1. Example number 1, let's go with Caden. Let's see, runs 10 miles in 3 hours. And let's see who else. Let's go with Ben. Runs. Let's go with 8 miles in 2.25 hours. Okay, are we still all good? All right, what I want to know, who has the faster speed? All right, so in order to figure out which one is faster, we have to turn them into unit rates, right? And think about what is a unit rate when we're talking about miles an hour. We do miles per hour, right? So we're first going to start with Caden's here. And we have 10 miles in 3 hours. But we need to reduce that so that there's only a 1 on the bottom. So we're going to divide it, right? So go ahead and divide those. What's 10 divided by 3? Good. 3.3 miles in 1 hour is the rate that Caden is running. Now we're going to do Ben's. And again, we're going to do Ben's is 8 miles in 2.25 hours. Go ahead and divide that one. Good. Okay. Miles in 1 hour. All right. So which one is going faster? Okay, which one is going faster? Ben is going faster, isn't he? Ben is faster. Okay, so in order to compare them, you need to change them into unit rates. All right, so the one in your homework actually talks about people in square miles. So we want to figure out how many people are in each mile and then compare them. Okay? Any questions on finding a unit rate? All right. So now we're going to talk about conversions. Converting from one rate to another. All right, now I'm going to ask you to do this a certain way. There is a reason I'm going to ask you to do this a certain way. It is because I'm preparing you to be able to do this in chemistry class. Okay? I want to make sure that you know how to do it before you get to Mrs. Olmsted. All right? And so I'm going to do it the same way she does so that it makes it easier for you. Okay? All right. So when we do converting, I'm going to ask that you make yourself what I call a ladder. It's not really a ladder. It's really like a long one-sided tic-tac-toe type of thing. Your given information always goes here. Whoops, given info is what I tried to type there. Let's try that again. That always goes in the first box. The next box is a conversion factor. Now, sometimes you only need one conversion factor, and sometimes you need two. We'll have to wait and see. Once you have got it to the right label, I want you to draw a second line, which represents that you're ready to solve it. It's the equals. And then over here is going to be your answer. Okay? I'm going to start off with a super, super easy one that you all are going to tell me you can do in your head, and you don't need to do it this way. But I need to teach you to do it this way for the harder ones. Okay? All right. I know some of you are going, well, I can do it my way and it's easier. It doesn't work that way. So, for example, let's say I want to change 63 yards into feet. All right, so I'm going to ask that you draw our ladder. Our given information of 63 yards goes in our first box. Then, in the next set of boxes is our conversion factor. Who can tell me how many feet are in a yard? 3. Good. Now, here's the important part. You need your labels to cancel. So, because yards is on top, we're going to put 1 yard on the bottom and 3 feet on top. So you guys just told me it was 3 feet equals 1 yard. That's our conversion factor. Now, I could cancel my label of yards. My label's now in feet, so I'm going to go ahead and draw my second line because I'm where I need to be. Now I'm going to multiply across. 63 times 3. 189 feet. And technically on the bottom I have 1 times 1, which is 1. So we're good here. Okay? It's not that bad. It'll help you stay organized. All right? Questions before I go on to example number 2? Okay. Example number 2. Probably 5 or 6. Okay, so it's not that many more. I promise. All right, let's go with, how about, I want you to convert 40 seconds into hours. All right, so I'm going to draw my ladder here. 40 seconds goes in my first box. That's my given information. So I have 40 seconds on top. Conversion factor. Now, technically, when you are changing from seconds, you don't go directly to hours, do you? You have to go to minutes, right? So we're going to first change it from seconds into minutes. All right? So I know I have to put seconds on the bottom and minutes on the top. Why do seconds have to go on the bottom? Why did I put my label of seconds down here? It's where we're going to cancel it, right? We're converting. Okay. So 1 minute is 60 seconds. Does everybody agree with that? So I can cancel my seconds, and now technically I'm in minutes. Now can I go from minutes to hours? Okay. What's my conversion factor for that? Good. And where, Kaden, do you think I should put my 60 minutes? If I put it on top, is that going to cancel with the minutes that are there? Yes, we have to have 1 hour on top and 60 minutes on the bottom. So you can see that our minutes are going to cancel, top and bottom. That label cancels. So now our label is hours, so I'm going to draw my second line. I'm going to multiply across the top. So 40 times 1 is 40 hours. On the bottom, I have 60 times 60, or 3,600. And that means that I have to divide. So grab your calculator and type in 40 divided by 3,600. Other way. 40 divided by 3,000. 0, 1, 1, 1? Yeah, hours. All right. I'm going to ask that you go to 3 decimal places for me today, and then you can stop. Okay? I went to 4, but you know what I mean. All right. Questions before I keep going? This is super important so you can see where your labels cancel, right? It's super important so you can see what your conversion factor is. You're always going to multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and divide last. Okay? All right, let's go with example number 4. All right. How about if we go 3 quarts to liters? All right. My given information is 3 quarts. Do you know the conversion factor for quarts to liters? Yeah, that goes from our regular standard measure to a metric measure. You guys wouldn't know that off the top of your head. I don't know that off the top of my head. So if we're converting, the first thing I want you to do is look on page 814 for me, please. Look on page 814. Page 814 in your book. Okay, open up your Chromebook. I did also post it in Google Classroom. So when you get to page 814. It's got all of the odd conversion factors that you don't normally see. Okay? Page 814. So we are looking for conversion from quarts to liters. So somewhere around the middle of the page, I think you might find it? Yes. Who can tell me what 1 quart is how many liters? Go ahead, Ben, what is it? Good. All right. So I know that 1 quart is 0.946 liters. Ben, remind me, why did I just write quarts on the bottom? It is how many? Go ahead, Camille. Why? Yes, we want to cancel our label, right? So we're going to cancel quarts with quart down here. All right, now, are we in the right label? So we're going to head and draw our second line. And let's go ahead and multiply across. Multiply 3 times 0.946. What is it? 2.8. And we have liters. And on the bottom we have 1. Do we need to divide by 1?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Sir. All right. Okay, so before we go to example number 5, how are we doing? Any questions where we're at? No? We're doing good? Okay. And again, this is how you're going to be doing it in chemistry class. So I want to make sure we're understanding the method we're using before we get there.
It's actually 2.83.
Example number 5.
I can do math on the scale I have, I guess.
All right. Let's go with, how about 2 feet? And we're going to go to centimeters. Again, we're going to draw our ladder, so to speak, right? And our given information goes in this first box, which is 2 feet. We do not know what feet to centimeters is. So what are we going to do? You could. When you look in there, you will notice there is a conversion from centimeters to inches. There's a conversion from feet to meters, but there's nothing that goes straight from feet to centimeters. Isn't it? It's terrible. Is that? Yeah. Is what? Okay, great. So before we can use that conversion, and I totally agree with you, Kaden, what do we need to do to our 2 feet up here? Change it into what? Inches, thank you. So we have to say that 12 inches is 1 foot. Maybe. Right, and you have to put inches on top so that our feet will cancel. Now we have a conversion factor that will go inches to centimeters. And because inches are on top, we have to put inches on the bottom. So remind me again, Tatum, what was it? 1 inch was? Good, 2.54 centimeters. And now you notice our inches will cancel. And we have the right label. It's what we're looking for. So now we're going to multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and divide last. Go for it. How close am I? Is that what you guys got? Perfect. All right. So you'll notice that on our little ladder we're drawing, in the given information column, there's actually 2 boxes. When do you think that might be needed? Why don't we try one and see what happens? So here is, you ready? Example number 6. How about if I want to change 50 miles per hour to feet per minute? So now how many labels am I changing? I'm going from miles per hour, and actually let me write it this way, it'll probably be better so you guys can see it. I'm going from 50 miles in 1 hour to feet per minute. All right, so we're going from miles to feet, and we're going from hours to minutes, right? All right, so let's go ahead and draw our ladder here. Given information, now we're going to use both of the boxes in the front. We have 50 miles in 1 hour. So our first conversion factor, we got to decide if we want to switch miles first to feet, or do you want to switch hours into minutes? What do you guys want to do first? Miles to feet. Who can tell me how many feet are in a mile? Caden beat you to it. Good job. Oh. All right, so 1 mile is 5,280 feet. And again, why did I put miles on the bottom? Good. All right, so currently we're in feet per hour. We need to go feet per minute. So now I got to get rid of hours. Now, hours are on the bottom, which means I'm going to have to write them where to cancel them? On the top. Very good. So 1 hour on top. And how many minutes? 60. You guys scared me there for a second. 60 minutes. So now you'll notice the hours will cancel. Ooh, that didn't work. All right. So on the top we have feet. On the bottom we have minutes. Is that what we need? All right. So go ahead and multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and divide last. And then what do you have to do, Caden? Oh, you divided it already? Yeah. So what was your top number? Help me out. Thank you. 264,000 divided by 60. Does everybody agree? 4,400. Okay. And what is my label? What did you guys tell me my label is? It's in feet per minute. Exactly. Make sure today you have to have those labels because that's what we're trying to find, right? All right. So your assignment today on page 119 to 120. The very first one, all you have to do is a unit rate and make a comparison. The rest of them, 12 through 22, you're changing one label. And then 24 through 30, you're changing 2 labels. Yes, you are. Get started. All right. I want to remind you that I put both the page from the book in Google Classroom, and I put that conversion page. So if you are working out of the book, Ben, are you hearing me? If you're working out of the book, I put the conversion page in Google Classroom also. So you have all those conversions. All right, so you have all those conversions right in front of you, okay?